Hello, everybody, and welcome to CAPA, our monthly meeting this May of 2020, a unprecedented time, obviously. This is our second Zoom meeting, little glitches here and there, but we're working it all out and getting better at it, I hope. We probably will do this again next month, and then we'll have to see after that. And also, as part of this meeting today, I'm going to include a segment of our meeting in my TV show, Books and Beyond. I want everybody to see that as an organization, as a group, that we're sticking together. We're going to hang together through this crisis. We're going to get through this crisis and move forward, hopefully, in the spring, in the fall or spring or whenever. I think it's been hard on everybody. As writers, it's been tough for us to do our book marketing, get out there and reach people. We can't go out and press the flesh. So we'll talk a little bit about maybe ways that we can encourage each other, help each other, and move forward. I kind of missed the happy dollar, but you know, we'll get back to that when we get in the flesh. One thing I do want to say, and I just want to put it out there for everybody, just in case you might hear something, is I don't know if we'll go back to the nursing home. Things are going to change now. I'm not so sure if they're even going to allow us back in. They haven't, of course, contacted me, or I don't think, or Patty, and said, hey, we don't want you anymore. But after this crisis, I think things are going to tighten up quite a bit. I intend to check with the Groton Public Library, try to book as many dates as I can. Hopefully we'll find some sort of a permanent home, place we can go. I'm like just saying, I'm not ruling out the Groton Regency, but I'm just saying that the way things have been and what's happened, I'm not so sure that that's going to be an option for us when we go back. But we'll keep you informed. And like I said, if you come up with any good ideas, or if you hear of anything or some venue that possibly might work for us, please, let us know. Okay. Right now, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Patty. She's got some exciting news for you, and let's go.
Okay. I don't know if it's exciting news, but I truly think that this time when we're forced to stay together, stay at home, not together, that we really need to get that writing done. I mean, we should be writing pages and pages because we are home. And if we don't have anything to think about, we need to think about what our characters are doing next. So to that end, in the June meeting, by the June meeting, we will have a writing contest. You can have a short story or the first chapter of a book. We'll consider them together. We'll have a professional judge them. And Jim, I think, has come up with a decent prize that will be appreciated. So in order on our June 15th meeting that we can talk about the winner, I need to have the entries in my hands by June 5th. Okay, so I think it's worthwhile to do. You do need to, I've been writing a fair amount while I've been stuck home, and I would think that we all should really make ourselves do it. I mean, yes, you can go play in the garden, and yes, you can do other things, but if we are writers, what better time for us to sit down and really get through whatever was giving us problem with a particular story. I've often found over the years when I've written fiction, particularly, if I'm working on a story and I'm not quite sure where the characters are going next, I think about it, and I think about it when I go to bed, and by the time I go to sleep, I usually have moved forward a scene or two. So I'm hoping everybody will jump in on this. So deadline for entries, either short stories or a first chapter, are June 5th. To be emailed to me, and I'll get it to our judge, and we will have a prize for the winner on our June 15th meeting. Okay? That's it.
Patty, I got a quick question on the first chapters. couple of chapters if they're only a couple pages long, 10 pages, somewhere.
Well, I don't want really more than 10 pages, mostly because the people I'm considering being judges, I don't know how many of you will respond. If you all respond, that's going to be too much for a judge to do. So I want to keep it reasonable. Okay, whatever you think is worthwhile and reasonable.
Got it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Patty, question for you.
Sure.
Question for you, Patty. Can we preface what we're writing about so you know some background, or just leave it straight and it is what it is on paper?
I'm not quite sure why you would want to do that. If I picked up a children's book, it wouldn't say that before I picked it up. And if I turned to the first chapter of a novel, unless I had a preface, it wouldn't say anything about it. But I'm not sure what it is you're looking for. I'm not sure what you want to add.
Okay, I'm just saying if I give you a chapter in the middle of the book without you knowing.
I'm asking for a first chapter.
Okay.
And I guess that's why I decided on a first chapter, just because of having to get into what you're saying.
Okay.
You know, I may have to write a page. If I choose a chapter in the middle, I may have to write a page of explanation of how I got there. And I don't think we need to do that to our judge.
Okay.
Any others?
All right.
Everybody's going to go home and start writing?
Yep, we're home.
Hey, I'm
Already here.
In full disclosure here, even though I knew about the contest last week, I didn't start anything.
Uh-uh.
All right. I waited for the contest, so I'm starting at the same place as everybody else. All
Okay.
right. Okay, so, I'd like to give everybody a couple of minutes, introduce yourself, talk about your book and what you're working on now, and how you're coping through the crisis. We will go ladies first, and then I'll go every other one. So let's start with Judy.
Had to unmute.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm coping okay. It's been an experience, as everyone knows. It's been an experience for everyone. So what I've been doing, I've been working on, well, the first thing I did was finish up and publish my mom's poetry book, Count Me Never Lost. So that's the first thing. I got that out the very beginning of March. So that's wonderful. She was a New York Times published poet. So that's wonderful. And then I have the 2 Slater Mountain books that are fun fictional adventure for preteens and teens, geared for that age group. And so I've been working on the 3rd Slater Mountain book during this health crisis. So the other things I've been doing is a friend who's a writer, she's actually an actress and a playwright, had started a writing group. And so it's a Zoom group. We don't talk, it's like an appointment to write, appointment with yourself to write. You just show up on the Zoom and you write. Everybody's quiet, we just write. So that's been interesting and fun and different. And I also have traded books with another friend who's a writer, and we're reading each other's books and, giving some feedback. So I've been trying to do a few things that are a little different, as well as working on my 3rd Slater Mountain book. So
All right.
that's what I've been up to.
Good.
Jim,
All right,
can I interrupt for a minute?
Shoot.
When Judy was talking about reading her friend's book, that reminded me that our last Christmas party, we exchanged everybody's books. And the idea is that we were going to read the book that we got as a Christmas present, and our job was to write a review. This is now May, and I don't know how many people have written a review or read the books that you received at Christmas. And this might also be a good time to tackle that. That's
There you
it.
go. I'm quiet.
I'm quiet.
All right. Greg.
Hey, hi,
How are you,
everybody.
bub?
How are you?
Good, good.
I have to ask Patty if it has to be anything new for the contest, because for the last 8 years, I have been looking for a lost manuscript, and it's been lost in my paper somewhere. And I've gone through so many computers that I don't have the electronic version. And wouldn't you know, I had a problem with something, and it forced me to move some things. And I came upon the first 80 pages of the manuscript, which I wrote in '93 as a sequel to my first novel. So I'll maybe think of the first 10 pages and send them over to you.
Sounds
It's like
good.
new to me now.
There
This
you
has been
go.
interesting. This has been an interesting time for me, because frankly, coming off of just publishing Spy Island, which is my second book back in November, my head is still filled with those characters. And we were right in the middle of really starting to talk about it. We had several public appearances and so on. And then I started writing my third book, and that filled my head with a bunch of other characters. And the confusion of the crossover was something to balance, and there was always an excuse to get away because of the COVID-19 virus. And it was like, let's go check the television. Geez, it's nice out. Let's stand outside and just enjoy the outdoors. And I found myself having great trouble separating characters. And the only thing I could do to put a rock down, if you would, and start working things out was to literally just write about the plot, and literally line by line, a plot thing. What's happening here? What's going to happen here? What does that lead to? What does that lead to? And that, theoretically, you do that anyway. I tend to write with the character first, and then the plot sort of fills in. But this went the opposite, and it gave me a tree and a structure that I could plug the characters into. And that was effective, in that the third book now is pretty much structured to the end, even though there's still a couple of hundred pages to write, punctuation and all that stuff. But I feel good about that.
Good.
And that kept me from being too depressed, especially finding this manuscript. So I'm going to send it over to you.
All right. Okay, Elizabeth.
Hi there. First, Greg, congratulations. You're proof that if you declutter, good things happen.
Right.
So, no, there's a lot to be said for that. I find things all the time that I was sure were long gone. So, a couple of things. Patty, thanks for the reminder. Actually read all of the book I got from Roy Bork at Christmas, and I was absolutely blown away with the quality of work, and learned something very interesting about his personal life, just smack dab in the middle of the book, kind of tucked away. Roy, you're kind of a genius, and I admire you. Thank you for gifting me your book, because now I know more about you. I've also read work by Dan Blackstone and Connie Bombassi during this time. So it's been fun getting to know you through your work. I have to read more from everybody. But so I started out by writing a memoir that was inspired by my move to the shoreline, and created a funny hobby of lobstering, catching my own lobsters. I moved here with no boating experience, no fishing experience, certainly no experience handling lobsters or catching them. But what was fun about that is it bounced me to other things. So one of the things I do is I'm the content coordinator for a local magazine called Mystic Neighbors. And if you've seen it, it's really jam-packed full of stuff about the immediate area. Well, when this whole COVID thing hit and all of a sudden people were staying home, I suddenly had a lot less content, and because I had certain things I always write about, and all of a sudden they weren't happening. So that made me be a little more creative. So I ended up writing about what businesses were doing to support the community, what individuals were doing to support the community, how to support specifically the restaurants and retail shops in the area. And I just got on a roll. I ended up with all these articles in the one issue that's coming out in June. And it's nice because it's sort of dedicated to all the people that are doing their very, very best to be supportive of each other at this time. And it's been a joyful thing to be focused on all the good in the midst of all the crazy. So other than that, I've been writing so much for the magazine, and I've been doing articles and other things. I haven't been writing a book. I've got chapters started, but I've got 3 chapters for 3 separate books, and I don't think I'm going to go forward with all of them. So thus is the nature of writing. None of them inspire me, so I'm going to start another brand new one. But I appreciate all of you that are working on your books and moving forward and getting progress.
Well, thank you. We appreciate, I'll tell you, I appreciate the work you've done helping out the local business communities. And we've got to push that a little harder. And I got some things going, and maybe we will be able to make a difference. Hey, Roy, since your name just came up, what's going on with you, Bobby?
Well, good evening. First of all, thank you, Elizabeth, for that compliment. When I wrote the book, I wanted it to be partially an autobiography. So I tried to put, how I came to conclusions. And right now, my second book is in the hands of Dorrance Publishing. So they've got my first installment, and I'm waiting to hear from them. They're going through the editing phase now. So we'll see what happens with that. In the meantime, I've got a friend that has a internet radio station, and he also does live Facebook shows. So I did 4 shows right now, up till now.
Oh, wow, that's great.
So that gives me an opportunity to get a little bit more at ease in front of the camera. So we'll see where that goes.
All right. And you're going to be the first guy on my show when I get back in the studio, Roy. I want you to know that. So I'll let you know as soon as they let us back in.
Okay.
All right.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Karen. There you go.
I'm the new kid on the block. I think I've made it to like 2 meetings in a year. So hi, everybody. During this whole thing, I did get a book published, and it's White Gloves that got published in April. And I was very excited, and I said, now what? I can't go anywhere, can't bring anything anywhere, can't meet anybody. So I was all hyped up just to be starting the second book called Green Dickies. And I'm sort of on the theme of the titles. Everything revolves around a piece of clothing that people wear that identify themselves. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I just started like chapter 3 of Green Dickies. That I started in September, so I had this boiling in my mind. And when White Gloves came out, I said, okay, let's go full speed on Green Dickies, because it seems like the world is at a standstill as far as marketing goes.
Yep. We're all in that boat, Karen. We're I had a new book came out. This thing, Greg just had his book come out. We're all just chomping at the bit, trying to get out there and show our stuff. Somebody who might be able to help us with that is our host tonight, Brian Judd. I just want to say thanks to Brian for hosting the meeting and recording it for us. How you doing, Brian?
Very good, Jim. How are you?
Good. What's going on with you?
Lots, actually. I'm very, very busy. I've been working from home for several years, so I have. It's not much different for me to do something different. It's basically what I've been doing, the same thing for years. So it's very good. I do a lot of consulting via telephone and via Zoom. So clients all over the country. I'm working on that. To make a list of things. I'm doing a rewrite of my book, How to Make Real Money Selling Books. Just finished the rewrite on that, sent it to the publisher. So that is coming along. Actually, I'm teaching marketing courses at the Central Connecticut State University and University of Hartford.
Oh, wow.
They're online. I started teaching on campus last semester, but obviously mid-semester we have to go online. And now the summer semester, it's all online. So I have two marketing management courses. Actually, they're graduate students, so it's really something a little bit different. I'm very busy writing articles and blogs. I contribute to Bowker, to Sheridan, to Nonfiction Authors Association, to Book Baby, a variety of different blogs monthly. So I'm very busy writing new articles, trying to come up with new techniques, particularly things they're very interested in marketing techniques that you can do while you're home during this. So I can talk about some of those if you have time. I run the Association of Publishers for Special Sales. I'm the executive director of apps, and we're having a virtual conference in June. So we're doing a lot of preparation for that, getting speakers and getting people doing the marketing and making that work. I do 12 virtual meetings like this every month for either as a speaker for others or those that I have. For CAPA, I do the Southwest, Southeast, the Avon meeting, which we did Saturday, and other informal meetings with CAPA and with apps. I do a lot of speaking on, there are, as you can imagine, a lot of virtual conferences going on now. So I do a lot of speaking at those, talking about special sales and non-bookstore marketing. So that's keeping me busy. Actually, last week was final week at Central, and this week is the first week of school for University of Hartford. So I've been very busy on those projects.
And Brian's going to speak at our next meeting, so everybody knows. Usually we have it at a member's house in the summertime, but I think this year we'll be doing it just like this. So we'll be looking forward to that. Thank you, Brian.
I think the last 12 years I've been a speaker.
Yeah.
At the July meeting.
Yeah.
Outside somebody's home or.
We're gonna bump you up a month this year. So
yeah, that's fine.
Special times. Larry, how are you doing?
Doing really well, Jimmy. Unfortunately, nobody that I know well has been sick, so everybody's doing okay. I had a lot of travel and work planned starting in mid-March, and within the span of about 48 hours, everything got canceled. So as soon as that happened, I hit the ground running, hit the keyboard running, and I've done a massive, aggressive rewrite of my novel, and it's finished. And that'll actually be, the artist is working on the cover art. That should be done this week, and I'll probably submit it to Kindle next week. So that's essentially done. It'll probably be available in a few weeks or a couple months.
I'll be looking forward to that.
I'm not waiting around for things I'm not waiting around for other people. So in the meantime, I'm halfway through another novel, which is an adult comedy. And that I'll probably be done with that, the first draft of that, and probably by the end of June. So I know exactly where I'm going with it, what it is, and what I want to get to accomplish with it. So that's essentially, it's well in the works. It'll be done. First draft will be done by the end of June, I think. So
good.
Splitting time between work, like yard work and hikes, and since I can't even visit grandkids anymore, I am, as Patty correctly pointed out, I have been very active at the keyboard last 2 months.
Yeah. Well, that's we've all it's been that way for a lot. But personally, me, in full disclosure, I'm still working full time. I work at a grocery store. I'm not, my life hasn't, my schedule hasn't changed all that much. We all miss the social aspects and miss going out and having coffee with you and Bill.
Right.
I miss the actual CAPA meetings, seeing everybody. I miss doing my show at the station instead of via Zoom and stuff like that. But again, we've been very, very lucky in this area too. I don't know anybody personally that's had COVID or know anybody that knows anybody personally that had COVID. So I guess we've been blessed that way. We'll just have to see how things go when it opens up. And hopefully it will. I hope it'll open up eventually enough that we can actually get out and do our events again and do some marketing. There was a lot of great ideas. I had a lot of things scheduled for this year. Same thing. I had my new book. I was all excited about getting out there and showing the world, but everything got put on hold and just the way it is. But at least it has given us a chance to, like I say, get caught up on our writing. It's good to hear. I myself started another book. I got the plot laid out. I got, once again, it's just I got to get the little stubby fingers to hit the keys and get going, At this point, I'm going to say goodbye to the studio audience anyways, Books and Beyond. We're just about out of time, so I just wanted to say I hope that people that tune in will see that what we're doing with our group, and our group is trying to stay together. CAPA is a wonderful organization. It encourages writers, illustrators, publishers, agents, whoever. There's a lot of talent out there, as you heard from Liz. And I've read a lot of the books from the members. There's a tremendous amount of talent. And we just need to get people to start looking at us instead of the book rack at the grocery store, okay? So thank you very much. It's been Books and Beyond. This is Jimmy Bennett. I'll be signing off. Take care.